Hey everyone. Today we're going to break down one of the most important tools in all of economics. It's just a simple graph, but believe it or not, it explains some of the toughest choices we face, from our own daily lives all the way up to huge national decisions. Ready? Let's jump right in.
Okay, so picture this. I'm sure you've been here. It's the night before two massive exams. You've only got 6 hours to study. You could spend all 6 hours on econ, and hey, you might just ace it. But your history grade? Yeah, that's going to take a hit. Or you could split your time. What do? This right here is a classic trade-off, and it gets to the heart of a big idea. You just can't have everything.
And you know what's wild? That little problem of yours, that's not just a student problem. It's the problem of economics. Your limited resource is time. For a business, it's their budget or their machines. For an entire country, it's their workers and natural resources. At every level, everyone, and I mean everyone, has to make these kinds of choices. So how do economists actually think about these choices? Well, they've got this really cool tool called the Production Possibilities Frontier. We'll just call it the PPF. All it is really is a simple curve that shows you all the maximum combinations of two different things you can make, assuming you're using everything you've got, all your resources and technology, as efficiently as you possibly can. All right, to make this super clear, let's imagine a small bakery. Let's say it can only make two things, delicious pizzas and bowls of pasta. This little table here shows the different choices they can make in a day. You see that first option? They could go all in on pizza, making 10 of them, but that means 0 possibles. Now look at the next option. If they decide they want to make 30 bowls of pasta, they have to give up making 2 pizzas. See that? There's the trade-off. Every single choice has a cost.
Okay, now for the fun part. Let's actually build this graph. It's way easier than it sounds, I promise. First, we'll put one good on each axis. Let's say pizzas on the vertical axis and pasta on the horizontal one. Step 2, we just take those combinations from our table and plot them as dots on the graph. And for the grand finale, step 3, we just connect the dots. That's it.
And there you have it. Welcome to the Production Possibilities Frontier. This curve, this line we just drew, represents the absolute maximum that our little bakery can produce. It's its full potential. Any single point right on that line is a possible choice, and it's an efficient one.
So what does it actually mean to be on the curve? Well, it means you've reached something called productive efficiency. It's a key idea, but it's simple. It just means you're not wasting a single thing, not one drop of sauce, not 1 minute of oven time. If you're on the curve and you want to make more of one thing, you absolutely have to make less of the other. There's just no other way. The system is running at max.
Yeah, think of any point on this line like a factory that's just humming along at 100% capacity. All the machines are running, every single worker is busy, nothing is being wasted. You are squeezing every last drop of production out of what you have. That right there is efficiency.
But what if we're at a point inside the curve? Uh-oh. That means we're being inefficient. Something's wrong. Maybe an oven is broken, or one of the chefs called in sick. Whatever the reason, we're not producing as much as we could be. In a real-world economy, this is a big deal. It represents things like unemployment or factories sitting idle.
Okay, so what about a point way out here, outside the curve? I mean, that would be amazing, right? But it's impossible, at least for now. With our current ovens and our current staff, we simply cannot produce that much. It's a goal, a dream, but it's out of reach today.
Now, whenever you move from one point on the curve to another, you bump into this super important idea, opportunity cost. Every time our bakery decides to make more pasta, what do they have to do? They have to make fewer pizzas. Those pizzas they didn't make, that's the opportunity cost of the pasta. It's simply the value of whatever you had to give up to get something else.
But wait, have you noticed something about the shape of the curve? It's not a straight line, is it? It's bowed outwards. This shape is super important. It shows us something called the law of increasing opportunity cost. Think about it. Imagine one of the bakery's chefs is a pizza master, but just okay at making pasta. To get your first few bowls of pasta, you can have your other chefs make them, and you don't lose much pizza production. But to get more and more pasta, you eventually have to pull your pizza master off the pizza line. So for each new bowl of pasta, you start giving up more and more of those perfect pizzas. Why? Because resources, in this case your chefs, aren't perfectly interchangeable.
So let's be super clear on this, because it's a big deal. Moving along the curve is just about making different choices with the resources you already have. But shifting the entire curve? Whoa, that's a whole different ballgame. That means you're changing the total amount of what's even possible to begin with.
And that brings us right back to the big question, doesn't it? Remember that impossible point, the one outside our frontier?
Are we just stuck dreaming about it forever, or is there a way to actually get there?
Yes, absolutely we can. And the way we do it is through something called economic growth. This happens when we get more resources or better resources. Think about it. Maybe our bakery gets a brand new, super fast pizza oven. That's new technology. Or they hire another chef. That's an increase in labor. Or they send their staff to a fancy culinary school. That's better education and training.
And when any of those things happen, look what happens to our graph. The entire production possibilities frontier shifts outward. All of a sudden, that point that was totally impossible before is now on the table. It's achievable. This is the magic of economic growth. It's how we get more stuff and how our lives get better over time.
But we have to be honest here. The curve can also move the other way. Really bad things, like natural disasters or wars, or even just running out of an important resource, those can actually shrink what an economy is capable of producing.
And when that happens, the PPF shifts inward. The whole economy just can't make as much as it used to. And that means the choices, those trade-offs, get even tougher. It's a pretty sobering reminder that economic growth isn't something we can just take for granted.
Okay, that was a lot, so let's wrap all these big ideas into one easy-to-remember word: scarcity. Ready? S is for scarcity, the fact that we don't have unlimited stuff. That forces a C, a choice, between A, alternatives. Why? Because our R, resources, are limited. Every choice has a C, a cost, an opportunity cost. I is for inefficiency, which is any point inside that curve. T is for the trade-offs we always have to make. And finally, Y. Well, that's just to remind you that you can't have everything. Pretty cool, huh?
And please don't let the simplicity of this little curve fool you. This tool helps us understand massive, real-world decisions. The most classic example is the guns versus butter debate. It's about a country's choice. How much money do we spend on the military, the guns, versus on things for our citizens like food and consumer goods, the butter? The BPF shows this trade-off perfectly. More of one means less of the other.
Or think about a more modern choice, one we talk about all the time: healthcare versus education. I mean, both are incredibly important, right? But our resources, our national budget, are limited. A society might have to choose. Do we invest more in schools or more in hospitals? The PPF doesn't give us the right answer, but it forces us to see that a choice has to be made, and it shows us exactly what we're giving up.
And that really leaves us with one last big thought. The production possibilities frontier. It's not just some graph in a textbook. It's a mirror of our world. It's a constant reminder that our resources are limited and that every single choice we make has a cost. So the real question it leaves for all of us is this: what trade-offs should we be making today to build a better tomorrow?